My name's Artur Bagdasaryan. I am 36 years old, higher. Oh, that's going to be uncomfortable. All right, 36 years old. I've been married to my wife for going on 6 years now. We have 3 kids, 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 7-month-old. Right? I'm 31, guys. I can't wait too long, right? Wow, bad crowd. Can't even joke yet. All right, now, the point of this message today is not, and it's been, I don't want to say, the title of it is not what it's going to be about. The title was Pre-Marital Preparation. The real title is something like this, all right, for you guys, how to actually attract the girl you like, the one you actually want to look at you, right? And ladies, how to actually attract the guy you actually want to talk to you, and not some Serioja who's going to be like, hi, how are you? You know, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do that. And look, I'm going to assume all of you read your Bible. Who reads their Bible? All right, yeah, thank you. All of you read your Bible, that you pray. Do you guys pray? That you go to church? All right, all of those things, I'm assuming you do all of that. So I'm going to try to give you stuff otherwise. How to think about things, how to think about women, men, sex, relationship, all of that, right? In a way that's not just, and your girl of your dreams will come, because otherwise, you would all be married right now, right? So this is my point. That's what I'm going to try to do. So if your criticism to me is, you didn't read enough Bible, it's like, bro, you've been reading Bible, right? My point is, there's things that, like my dad, he's a pastor, he actually tells me, like, when he was trying to help me with women and my wife now and like actually moving forward in relationships, he would tell me stuff, and I'd be like, Dad, why don't you preach about this? He's like, I can't say this from the pulpit. And it's true, right? There's a lot of things between men and women, intersexual dynamics, all of that we can't say from the pulpit, because if something in the pulpit is a little bit unclear, it's completely foggy in the pew. If the preacher is a little bit not technical, not clear, the people hearing it is complete fog. It's like the Mines of Moria, if you know Lord of the Rings, if you're allowed to watch Lord of the Rings. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it. It's like darkness. So a lot of these things, like I can't get up and preach on Sunday morning church. Imagine that, me saying, this is how you attract the girl. So that's what I'm going to try and do. So a part of it's going to be what men really need to be doing, how they should be presenting themselves, and what women, like, you want that guy to talk to you. What kind of girl does he want, right? And I'm just going to accept it. Both the guys are going to be mad at me at the end of this, and the girls are going to be mad at me at the end of this. It's just the way it is when we talk semi-confidently about these things. So, to start off all that, we have about an hour and a half to do this. I'm not going to take that whole time. I don't want to take that whole time. I want to kind of give out some general ideas, and then we could actually have question and answer and talk about things dynamically. All right? So, yes, this is not for just a 14-year-old. What's the youngest age here? Who's below 20? Who's below 18? Good. How old are you? You don't look 15. All right, 15. This will help you. This will help you. Don't go tell your mom, Propovjednik said I need to do this. Then actually do that. That'd be interesting. And then the oldest, I'm not going to say it was the oldest. I'm going to tell on myself here. All right, so this is where we're going to start. So keep your questions. I am not opposed to you stopping me and saying, can you explain that? What do you think? Just don't be annoying about it, all right? Just be like, answer my question. Why doesn't she love me? Probably because of how you're behaving right here, embarrassing yourself, something like that. But I am open to questions. I will tell you the truth, all right? And I'm a guy who at some point had miserable success with women. And now I'd like to think you should come in and listen. She's not coming out. Mild. I'm not saying I'm a success. I'm not Andrew Tate here saying, yeah, I get whatever chicks I want, right? So, right, before we start. So, there's actually 2 ways to come at this. Right now, in our society at large, we have a lot of people who are making YouTube channels or whatever on men's issues, acting like they know what they're talking about, right? Now, the name I just mentioned, someone like Andrew Tate and the more, radical red pill right-wing guys, a lot of the things that they're saying should resonate with men because they're actually true, right? I'm not going to tell you which part just yet, right? But the thing is, you got to understand the standpoint they're coming from is probably a wrong one, because purely for them, marriage and women are either for reproduction or, just reproduction, right? It's evolutionary psychology. We're just here to reproduce, have a little bit of fun, and move on. There's no eternity in scope. There's no something that marriage means more than a civil union, who gets to visit you, who gets to inheritance. There's an actual theological dimension to all of this that they never really touch on. So a lot of their stuff might sound true, but you got to understand where it's coming from. And the same thing with the feminist movement today. A lot of it is true. Yeah, men have izdivali sandrenchini for, I don't know, how long has this earth been around? 10 million years? Yeah. They pretty much oppressed them for that whole time. I mean, I could tell you stories of how the same two people in the churches I was at did the same sin. The woman got at luchon, the guy didn't. Kind of unfair, right? And then there's these things that are born. Yeah, it's a man's world, and men get certain protections. I get it. So the feminists are right in a lot of what they say. All the guys are like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm going to call Andrew Tate. Yeah, feminists are right in a lot of what they say, but what are they doing, though? They're starting from the wrong spot to say that if a woman has all the rights that she has a man, she can be a better person. No. So in a way, I'll start with this. Ladies, you have no idea what it's like to be a man. And men, you have no idea what it's like to be a woman. All right? So these ideas, I understand how you feel. I hear this stupid stuff all the time. And I'll make fun of the way people talk. And if you've ever said that, don't get offended. I'm not talking about you personally. I've just heard this bad advice forever, right? So I'm going to try to make you steer clear of all this kind of stuff. So I am not telling you that I am charting a course between the red pill or whatever right-wing movement and feminism. No. I'm going to try and give you a good alternative that makes a man actually what he needs to be and a woman what she needs to be, what makes her the most happy, what makes him the most happy. And this world has lied to both men and women in that. So that's kind of my introduction. Are we ready to go? All right, ladies, brave volunteer. Any one of you. I'm not asking hardcore. How old are you? 18, a little older. Sorry, no offense. I'll come back to you. Actually, let's start there. That was rude of me. What do you want? Are you dating this guy right here? Yeah? Yeah? All right, yeah, I want to ask a single girl. Sorry, single girls. All the single ladies. Somebody, yes, what's your name? Devora. Oh, nice. Nice, unique. I haven't heard that in Slavic circles more. All right. How tall do you want a guy to be for you to marry him? Taller than you? Doesn't matter. All right, guys. Who's like 5'2" here? Oh, so he can't be a dwarf. All right. But can he be shorter than you? He can be shorter than you. How many guys have you dated that are shorter than you? But you would want one that's shorter than you. Well, I'm going to ask tricky questions, right? Yeah, thank you. It's not a deal breaker, good. But you would want a guy taller than you, right? Yeah. Like, guys, do you want a lady who's taller than you? My man, say it out loud. Loud and proud. No, you don't. All right, guys, I'm not even being offensive yet. You're all getting uncomfortable already, I can tell. Right? Nothing's even happened. Generally, ladies like taller guys. Why? All right, I'll give you a break. What? Okay, so a taller guy, will say, generally exudes the attributes of confidence, leadership, and he'll be able to protect you if a dwarf attacks you. Right? Right? Is that what we're looking at? Good. Thank you for telling the truth. Guys, did you hear that? If you're shorter than her, I don't want to break it to you. You need 10 million in the bank, something like that. Now, I'm being extreme for a purpose, right? To show you how this works. Because even though the world lives somewhere in the middle, general rules are good rules. Women have a hard time accepting that. For a lady, they take exceptions to everything. Men are generally stronger. Yeah, but I know a girl who beat a guy. Thank you. Right? So generals, I'm going to give you a lot of general things today that have some mild exceptions. But the real point, like if you're a smart person, all the smartest people, all the most successful people think in generalities and take from those generalized things. The people that reject generalities are generally midwits, like pretending they're smart. Actually, there's something different, right? In general. So guys, first thing, she wants a guy taller than you, don't waste your time talking to a girl that's taller than you. First thing. Sorry. If you just be mad at me. Just don't be mad at the world. Be mad at me for saying that. That's one thing. So, all right, I picked on the girl for once. I'm going to come back to the girls. Guys, brave volunteer. Someone I don't know. I know you. And you're annoying. So, speaking of annoying, guys, what makes a girl annoying? Brave volunteer. I would love someone to you might need to help us, brother, in the back, right? Talking to you. With the black jacket. Yeah, you might. I won't do it. I want one of the young guys to do it. What makes a girl annoying? I love it. I love the tension. I could sit here all day, kids. Any ideas? Any married men here? You are, right? You're afraid to say, all right, my man. All right, okay. 25 years of experience talking, saying when a woman talks too much, she's annoying. Can we all agree? Now, let me give you a feminist caveat, right? When men talk too much, are they annoying? Look at her. I didn't even finish the question. She's like, yes, yeah. So, yeah, ladies, so my point is I'm trying to get you to think in generalities. Guys, if you're short, I want to tell you this, your chances with, someone like who's really tall and beautiful with like 12% body fat and looks like she could walk out of a magazine, probably not looking your way, my way, anyone's way here. And that brings me to my second point, all right? First point is generalities are good, and we'll get to more than later. Second point is let's all break the standards here and expectations. We, including me, including the gentleman back there, basically all of us are average. All right, some of us might be a little better looking. Some of us might be a little less good looking. But Brad Pitt's not walking through that door, and neither is Beyonce, not Carrie Lee Rowland, not Blake Lively. Now you're kind of seeing what kind of women I would prefer or something like that, right? The point is, all of us are pretty dang average, right? So men like having the scale of 0 to 10. 10 is like you're the most beautiful woman on the planet. Like I'm telling you, on the planet. And then girls will tell each other, girls, no, girl, you're a 10. No. So, okay, 10, then there's the 9s. These are the girls that are prettier than 95% of the girls out there. Who in here? Which one of our guys would say, I am more beautiful, more of a man than 95% of the men out there? None of us. So all of us, I'll say this, we're all just below 7 and all above 5, right? Let's just give it. Actually, I would say even 6.5. All of us are right smack dab in the middle of everybody, right? So Brad Pitt's not walking through that door, ladies. Neither is Leo, all right? Neither are any of those high status, wealthy, good looking guys and be like, you want to go with me to Starbucks and get a latte? Not happening. So set your expectations, all right? Guys, all right? Ladies, don't get too mad at that, but I'll tell you this, guys. Our average age here is 20 years old. Overall, you haven't finished school yet. You have no money. You haven't learned how to dress. And you haven't really done anything in life. Now, I'm not criticizing. I'm saying your options at 20 are way less than what your options will be at 30 after you've had 10 years work and experience, 10 years of building a lifestyle, 10 years of learning how to make yourself look good, 10 years of having to cook for yourself instead of your mom having to cook for you. As a guy in 10 years, you're way more attractive than you are today. No one fighting on me that. No one fighting with me on that. That brings us to another point. You said height matters. But the thing is, you really wanted leadership, masculinity, protection, right? And one of the big problems we have today, and this is the answer I will get to. One of the big problems we have today is the expectation of a girl to get married. Say she's 21, prime of her life, beautiful, got everything going on, right? And she wants to marry a guy who's also around that age. The problem is that guy's 21. And I just described the 21-year-old guy, right? Still in school. Really hasn't done anything in this world yet. Really hasn't made an impact. Still trying to find his way. So there's a mismatch of what a girl wants at 21 and what a guy is at 21. This is why these problems exist. Because there's a mismatch with what is going on in her head and what is going on with you in your head as a guy. And a lot of it adds to that as even as a guy, like I have an own business. I work for a technological company. I'm a programmer. I learned to do that. It's not even my degree. I had to learn that on my own. And then I started a business also consulting with an aside. So I got multiple things going on at this time. So if a 21-year-old guy comes up to me and be like, Arthur, I want to work for you. Like, how do I hire this kid? Does he know how to code? Probably not. Can he handle himself with a client yet? Not yet, right? So I have to spend my time teaching him. And so this lack of competence of your typical 20, and I'm not judging here. I'm telling you the way the world works, the way I was at 20, the way every guy is at 20. It's just that competence level still hasn't grown. So there's an issue with a woman wanting a guy when she's 21, and the only guys that are kind of available and able to help that girl in what she wants are something like 28, 29, 30, right? You could say yes, it's true. Now, the problem is in Slavic culture, you got a 21-year-old guy, and then the girl, and then that weird, creepy 30-year-old with a nice BMW and a good job, right? Whose mom still washes his like jackets for him. Right? This is what happens. Now, I'm not making fun of anyone individually. I'm trying to do a good job of describing the problem in a way that resonates. So it starts here. Well, women want at 21 in the prime of their life when they are at their best, beauty-wise, right? And men who really haven't gotten to the level they need to be at to really attract that beautiful 21-year-old girl because she looks at me and she's like, dude, you still live with your mom. Like, how can I help you here? You know, and I'm not judging, please. Not everyone, anyway. That's the issue. So that's the kind of problem I'm starting out. Afterwards, I'll give you some strategy to actually move on and do that. But first, to do that, we got to talk about what happened between Adam and Eve in the garden. Now, test your Bible knowledge. Who was created first? Adam, right? Guys, is that true? Yes. So, did Adam talk to God before he created Eve? Anybody? Okay, Vinny says yes. You say yes. Anybody say no? Yeah, he did. So what did he tell him? He told Adam it's not good for you to be alone. Okay, yeah. He did say it's not good for a man to be alone, but he said that, kind of to himself, right? It's not good for a man to be alone. Let us create a helper for him, right? So Adam's created. God puts the animals in the garden and all the trees and all that stuff and tells him to do what? What? Name the animals. Have dominion. What else? Bible knowledge. What? Not to eat off the tree. Good. What else? To guard the garden. What else? Tend the garden. Very excellent. So tend and keep the garden, right? Take care of the garden. Name the animals, right? When you look at that phrase, tend and keep, in the Hebrew, avad and shamar, that's exact same phrase is used of the priests in the temple, the Levite priests, that when they're taking care of the temple, they need to keep and guard in that exact same form. So that led theologians to believe that, listen, Adam is in kind of a first, the garden that he's in is actually kind of a first temple. It's not already built out fully, but it's like the first temple, and Adam is a priest in that temple who's got to keep and guard it, right? And God sees you got to keep and guard, name the animals, do all this work, and God's like, you probably need someone to help you, and he creates Eve. So, the chronology here is really important. God puts Adam in the garden, gives him a job to do, tells him what not to do, and then says, now you need a helper, right? So God gives man a job to do, a responsibility to keep, and his word before who's even created, before Eve's in the picture. This actually means a lot for when we constitute what does a marriage look like later. So God gives a man a job to do, a responsibility, and a word to keep, right? Let's just call that a mission, right? God gives you this mission. Tend the animals, keep and guard the garden. And the point was, if Adam were to overcome his probationary period in the garden, and then the serpent comes, if he were to deal with the serpent rightly, God's kingdom and God's temple would spread further and further and further. So remember when Jesus says, all authority is given to me in heaven and on earth, go therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and basically saying, my gospel will spread to the ends of the earth, right? Jesus says that the gospel spreading in the ends of the earth is exactly what Adam failed to do. So if Adam had been righteous in the garden and did what he was supposed to do, like we'll talk about, basically God's garden, God's presence, God's gospel would have spread to the ends of the earth. In this way, Adam and Christ have the same idea. So the point is, in Romans 5, Paul says, there's the first Adam and who? The second Adam, who is Jesus. For God, really only two people are important in this whole world. Either you are in Adam's humanity, fallen, sinful, unrepentant, or you're a humanity brought out of Adam into Christ, where you are justified, sanctified, saved. Right? Really only two people matter. For either the person representing you before God is Jesus or a fallen Adam. Either way, that's why Romans says the entire earth fell into sin with whose sin? Adam's sin. Right? So feminists are raging right now. Be like, what do you mean? Well, Eve sinned too, right? We're both responsible for this. But the problem is, like, God really doesn't care what Eve does at first. And here's the point. Serpent comes in. You all know the story. He says to Eve, didn't God really say this? And Eve responds, what? We're not supposed to eat any of the fruits of the garden or any of them like that, right? We're not even allowed to touch it, right? But if you remember back, what did God actually tell Adam to do? Don't eat. He says don't eat. Did God say do not touch? Did God say do not look? Did God say anything except do not eat? No. He says do not eat. When the moment comes, Eve is talking to the serpent. She says, we can't eat, we can't touch, we can't look. So is there like a breakdown of communication there? Adam was supposed to tell her, don't eat it. Adam somehow told her, don't eat it, don't touch it, don't look at it. Right? Sounds like your grandma, right? It happens, right? They make rules. God said, don't eat it, right? I could look at it. I could touch it. No, you need to set good rules. The point is, there's a breakdown of communication. So, Eve looks, takes the fruit, bites in it, sees nothing's happening, gives it to Adam. He bites it, and all of us are in a sinful malaise as a result. Let's slow down. Remember that thing, that show that they used to do as kids? They actually redid it. Super Kniga, Superbook. I loved that. I loved that as a kid. Even though now I realize they got some of the stories wrong, but overall they did an excellent job. So let's do that, right? All of us, we need to just go down into that story, and we're standing right there. There's Adam, Eve, there's a serpent, there's a tree, there's God, hiding somewhere in the bushes over there, right? And we're here. We're here, we're looking at them. So, first thing, we already know, Eve is repeating a word of the Lord that is not exactly what God said. God said, don't eat. Eve is repeating, don't eat, don't look, don't touch. She's adding to it. Breakdown of communication. Whose fault is that? Did Adam fail to convey exactly what God has said? Maybe. Not exactly, yes. I don't know. I wasn't there. All right. Maybe. There's something there, though, right? So, okay, well, sort of say, Adam, your first job was to tell your wife what God has said. And exactly how I said it now, you might have added a commentary to it. He probably added some kind of legalistic application. Don't even look at it. And she repeated that. But first thing we notice is that there's a breakdown of communication. He said, don't eat. She's repeating, don't eat, don't touch, don't look. First thing. Now, fast forward a little bit. Eve has taken it and eaten it. Now, what should Adam do? Like, what's the right thing to do? What would Jesus do in this point? Brave volunteer. I'm not. This is not a tricky question. Not at first, anyway. Vinny, I've answered 1 million of your questions over the last 2 years. Okay? Can you give me a break? All right, fine. Fine. What should Adam have? What? Sure. Take the blame for what? For whose sin? He didn't sin. Adam hasn't yet eaten yet, right? She's eaten and she's given it to him. What should he do? Well, I don't know if Christ. No, Christ isn't there. He's still in heaven before he's incarnate, you know? If he were there, let's pretend. Let's assume. If Adam were to act like Christ would have acted, what would he have done after after Eve had eaten? Okay. Thank you. Oh, you want to answer? Okay, go ahead. From who? Okay, Vinny. Okay, he's asking for forgiveness. All right. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Not have sinned, more specifically. I'll give you a moment. To think about it, Mark. Let's make it an easier question. When the snake comes into the garden, or the serpent, before Eve has even eaten, what should Adam have done to the serpent, the intruder? Kill him. Chop that sucker's head off. Get him out of the garden. Part of your thing is to what? To keep and to what? Guard. You know, keep and guard, protect. And it's even interesting, when Adam gets kicked out of the garden, God puts the cherubim on that eastern side, and guess who is then told to keep and guard? The cherubim. Because Adam didn't keep and guard the garden, God put the cherubim in charge. So first thing he does, okay, he messes up, he doesn't tell Eve exactly what to do. Second is like, listen, the snake is sitting there talking, lying to your wife about what God has said, and you're standing there doing what? Now, first question, is he actually there standing? And if he is there standing, why is he just keeping quiet? So a lot of people said, oh, he wasn't there. Он делал работу там, на работе, а женщина была дома. You know, and it's like, actually says, the Bible says he was right there, not far away. So he's right there, I'll get you. Right there, waiting, hearing this whole thing go down, and not shutting the snake's mouth, not killing him. Go ahead, Nick. I don't know. That's a hypothetical. Let's meet up another night and do that, okay? I don't know. I don't think you can chop down like a divine tree. Like, what are you going to do? Like how many? Yo, Boniface did a real tree, though, the Thor tree. So I don't think you can chop down a tree. But where are we at? Adam doesn't give his wife the actual words she needs to say, doesn't shut the mouth of the snake, lets the snake keep talking. Massive failure of protection there. Now, do you guys remember David and Goliath? Right? He throws Goliath there. Then he goes, takes a sword, and he cuts off his head. The really interesting part here is that Goliath's armor is described as a bunch of scales in Hebrew. So basically what the Hebrew is showing is that there's a little kid, David, and he's up against a huge snake. Huge Goliath covered in scales, right? It's meant to give you a picture of some kind of fish, some kind of snake, some kind of weird material that sounds like a snake, a dragon. David kills him, comes up, chops off his head. We see in Revelation, Jesus coming back and finally killing what? A dragon. So that little cute little snake in the garden, all grown up into a huge dragon in Revelation. It's that same enemy all throughout. So David is actually playing a role of Adam there, actually cutting off the head of the snake. You know, remember when Saul told God told Saul to kill Agag. He didn't do it, right? Samuel went and did what? The Bible says they hacked him to pieces. So God's protection of his own temple, of his own people, takes on a very serious, violent element to the point of it. And where you see Adam's failure is not just in not telling his wife the truth, not teaching his wife the truth, not washing her in the water of the word, like it says in the New Testament. He fails teaching her, and he fails protecting her. He doesn't kill him. And so we finally come back to that. Eve eats. Eve is guilty. Eve is waiting judgment. Adam still has not yet eaten. What does Adam do? What's the right thing here? Your wife's guilty. Judgment on her. You're standing there. What do? At the very least, don't eat it. Good job. What else? What does he do with respect to his wife? How? Intercede for who and to who? Good. She's saying Adam's not yet guilty. His wife is. The right thing to do for Adam here is to step between the wife and the judgment of God and intercede. And isn't that exactly what happens in Christ in the New Testament? Remember, this is a God who has not yet sinned, and a bride, you and I, the church, who are pretty miserable sinners. And yet, a person who has not yet sinned intercedes for us, takes a punishment in our behalf, takes all that guilt, and is able to make us free. So, in a way, Adam fails to protect, fails to intercede, fails to teach the word, and in the end, fails to obey God himself. He eats of the fruit. Boom. Now they know they're naked. They put clothes on. They try and hide. God comes. Where are you? Oh, looking around as if God doesn't know. They get there, and God asks them, who told you you're naked? What's going on here? What went down? I went away for 2 minutes. And what does Adam say? Yeah. Look, God, know that. Eva, она перченая, она с характером, whatever. Though that chick, the one that you gave to me, right? She gave it to me and I ate. So there's 3 people here. It's Eve, Adam, and me, and I'm not at fault. So who's at fault is Eve and God. Great. That's my plan. This is Adam. This is a person who is almost not divine at that point, but is a perfect man with no sinful inclinations. What we would consider to have a perfect free will at this point. Doesn't teach his wife, doesn't protect her, doesn't kill the snake, doesn't intercede for her, and in the end blames God and her for this. And from this little story, let's call it a little fairy tale from some way along, obviously not a fairy tale, it actually went down. But from this story, let's glean things that Adam and wife, what a good couple looks like, what a man should be, what a woman should be, and what all went down. First thing, men, should you be someone who can keep and guard the temple that is your home, that includes your wife and children? Yes. What that means, at the very least, from a physical standpoint, this is a man who's actually kind of dangerous. I'm not talking about you going and picking up fights, right? But if a dog attacked my little 3-year-old girl, someone's dying, right? And it's probably the dog, right? Probably, who knows? I haven't been in this situation yet, right? A man, for you to actually fulfill and what God calls from you as a husband, as a man, is you got to be a little bit dangerous. You got to be. I'm not talking about a convict, this kind of type, but it's a guy, I used to have a friend who used to say this, I pick my friends on how useful they are to me if we go golfing and we get into a fight. Am I having to save you during that fight, our team against theirs? Or are you an asset to our, gang? I'm obviously joking and I'm saying, but the point is this, guys, if you weigh 80 pounds, you got no visible muscle, and my little sister can beat you up, girls are going to find that unattractive. Why? Because we already say, can I call you Deborah? I didn't want to mess it up. Deborah even said, you got to be taller because if we get attacked, someone's got to protect me. Someone's got to protect my children. Women can't beat any of you in a fight. And then if you can't defend anyone, what's up? So at the very least, if I'm going to try to make some kind of allegorical interpretation, each guy should be, in general, someone that the women in their lives can count on for defense physically, and next thing, defense spiritually. Second part, Adam, was there a breakdown in what God told you and what Eve is saying? Okay, let's say it's not his fault. Why is she repeating the wrong things? Why do our wives believe some of the most heretical stuff on the planet if we're such good theologians at home? I've quit letting my wife go to the women's family groups where the other women teach them what to do. I'm not being racist or sexist or feminist here. Like, I come back and I got like 3 hours of work ahead of me saying, this is a lie. This is a lie. Nowhere does the Bible say that. No joke. No joke. If I could get rid of all the women's groups, I would. And I would gladly come like, fine, ladies, I got no time in my life. I got a job. I got a business. I got 3 kids. I got a ton of church stuff going on pretty much every night. I will gladly come and teach your women's Bible study group, just so you don't fill the other women's minds with all this, and God said this to me, and it's like she's quoting Satan. I've heard that, Like, do you know that in Luke 4 or Matthew 4, there's a point where Satan says, if you bow to me, I'll give you everything, right? And I saw that on like a Christmas card or something where people like, if you bow to me, I'll give you everything. And they quoted Matthew 4:4. And it sounds great, like if you bow to God, he'll give you everything, right? It sounds great because the Bible does kind of say that in another place, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. That sounds to me like, if you worship me, I'll give you everything, right? Except Satan's talking in Matthew 4, right? And so nothing against women and teaching and all of that. And believe me, if I do take a slight at women teaching, it's not because I'm anti-women, okay? My mom, very bright. She's a doctor. My sister is a master in accountancy. My other sister is a nurse. My aunt is a nurse. My other aunt is a doctor, okay? Women, empowerment and all that. I'm generally good on that, right? Don't think I'm good. All my family's part of it. But on the teaching of the scriptures and saying, thus says the Lord, Paul has some pretty tough words. Not everyone should be preachers, and women should not generally not do this. He said, don't do this. All right? So there was a failure. No, если мой муж не учит, я должна. Okay. Like, this is how it begins. So the point is, Adam fails at protecting her physically. He fails protecting her spiritually. Men, you should be people that are, let's say this, a good Christian, meaning you don't have a problem with God. You don't have a problem with the way he does things. You don't have a problem with his word. You're gladly obeying his word. You should be theological. You should be a guy who knows what the heck he's talking about. If I ask you, why do you like Calvin's view on the garden and not like Luther's, you should have a generally good answer. That generally good answer could be, bro, I don't know. Let me go do some reading, right? There's a natural inclination of a woman by virtue of being created by God that she wants to seek her husband's either approval or opinion or the way forward on this matter. So if a wife has a theological question, a dang hard one, and the husband's like, I don't know, babe, I'm playing games, massive failure. There's a perfect opportunity for you to teach someone the truth of the gospel, and you don't know what you're talking about. I would say it's a shame, but I'm not going to say that yet, right? I'll say that at the end. So, ladies, we'll get to you. Don't think I'm leaving you not touched. That hammer's falling later. So the guy, spiritual protection, be a guy who is competent physically. I'm not saying be 6'2". I'll never be 6'2". But don't be someone like everyone's not scared of. Huh? Or just have a gun. You know, one thing worse than women's like Bible study meetings and everything is men's gun groups. They're the most annoying. Like, I'm like, it's a gun, guys. Calm down. Like my little kid's got a Nerf gun. You look just like him. Actually, amazing. Don't worry, guys. Like, I'm not anti-gun. I like them. I like them locked away and hidden and not having to use. But guys posting pictures of their guns like, go play video games instead. I'm not anti-video game. I love them. Talk about that later. So, spiritual protection, physical protection. And then the last part is all of that work together with a word we can call competence. Physical competence, spiritual competence. It's a guy that is easy to follow because he knows where he's going and he knows what he's doing. That's the point. A guy that's easy to follow because he knows where he's going and he knows what he's doing and he knows the mission God has given him. And notice, God gave Adam the mission first, and then he brings Eve to help Adam do whose mission? God's mission that he gave Adam. So you're exactly right. So a good way to think about this is, guys, do you have a mission from God? Right? Do you know what God is expecting of you, where you're going, your vision? When you're moving forward, by the way, it's easy to follow someone who's moving forward. If you're just sitting here, doing nothing, no one's going to follow. I'll give more practical points on that too. So Adam gives a mission. God gives Adam a mission, and they're both doing God's mission. So there's the last piece towards men. Spiritual protection, physical protection, finally, responsibility and mission. When things go wrong, and things really did go wrong in the garden, all of the universe fell into sin. It's the first thing Adam does, blame God, blame Eve. Guys, there's nothing worse than a man who doesn't take responsibility for what happens around him. Seriously. I don't want to even talk to that guy. If I see a guy who's caused a legit issue and he's blaming everyone else, this is not a guy I'm interested in discipling. This is not a guy I'm interested in working with. This guy to me is toxic. This guy to me is not a man. This guy to me is a child. Guy who blames others. Now, and I'm saying that as a person who currently is in a very difficult season of life with his wife. All right, cards on the table. Not perfect. All right, we've had a good run, 5.5 years, 3 kids. Now Satan's like, all right, let's rock this boat, right? Right now. Now I'm deciding, what do I need to say sorry for? How do I take responsibility for something that's obviously only my wife's fault? Look at her, everyone's like, obviously only, huh? All right? So how do I say sorry? A good thing for me to do is look, how can I apologize? What can I do? How many times this happened? How long can I suffer? How long can I be patient with this kind of disrespect? Yeah, that's a better way to put it. How patient should I be with this disrespect? Right? Cards on the table. This is the kind of things. What does it mean for Arthur to be a good, godly man? Was there spiritual protection? We'll see, right? Was there physical protection? Arthur, is anyone really scared of you? Some people might. I do weigh 200 pounds. I'm a little chunky, I know. But Grosini don't really want to be messed with in general. So I pretend I'm one, Spiritual protection is responsibility. What do I do here? And is there a vision going forward? These are the things that are on top of my mind all the time. Where am I failing here? Because a lot of my failure here can be explained in my wife's behavior. If I fail there, this is just a logically downstream issue. Adam's not a little not clear in what he says. Eve's repeating some crazy stuff. This happens, right? So I need you to be spiritually competent, physically competent. I need you to have a mission towards God, right? That you can bring your wife into. And finally, I need you to be responsible. So the 2 things that make a man a man. Ladies, we got plenty of time for you, 45 minutes for you guys. The 2 things that make a man, if I boil it all the way down, it's a spine, and I don't know how to say this. Ladies, you call it, and a guy, let's just call it, no, it's an inappropriate phrase. I just don't know how to, it's a guy who has a spine and someone who's courageous, risky, and tough. And you guys all know the word I'm talking about, guys do. I know. Here's what I mean by spine. Yes, steel. It's called spine and steel. My man. Married only for 6 months, already knows better than me. Can you pour me some water, please? So, a spine. So see what I'm doing? I'm starting with a story, and I'm trying to make it down. Okay, I got to hear of spiritual protection, physical protection, all that. Now I'm going to try to break it down even further, a little more, because I feel like if I break it down and get things into a practical place, it'll all be fine. So this guy needs to have a spine. What I mean by spine is not someone who's like, yes, kazali, don't period. That's not what I'm saying. The guys who talk like that are usually the most sensitive, obnoxious, very feminine in their behavior because they're trying to be tough like on the outside. What I mean by spine is this a guy who is not afraid to actually stand up for what is right, for how he feels about something going forward. And it is a result of a guy looking so deeply within himself, finding all the demons, all the dragons that live deep down inside there, fighting them, overcoming them, and then getting from those battles a confidence of leadership. Right? All of us men, I know, guys, believe me, I know, the kind of demons we face, the kind of tough things we have to go through guy to guy, no one understands. Really. Your mom doesn't, your dad probably doesn't want to talk about him because they defeated him a long time ago. And I'm not saying that funnily. I'm just saying, like this is not easy. Being a godly man is not easy. You got to have your mind fully under control. You got to have no problems with pornography. All the things in Proverbs where it says, don't even go to that street. Don't even look at that woman. All that's going to be unlocked. And my point is, once a man has defeated his own inner demons, and believe me, I could tell looking in some of your eyes whether you're in a good way or not in a good way, because I could tell in my eyes. I get up in the morning, I look in the mirror, I know right away, Arthur, are you that guy? Are you that guy? You know? Are these demons conquered? And how can I lead others if I'm just torn down by my own demons, idols, my dragons inside me? So my point is a spine. It's a person who has been through so much difficulty in his life, so much bad situations, so much difficult people, so much of his own sin, overcome it, and now carries himself with an upright spine, shoulders back, full of confidence because he knows what he went through there. Rarely, if ever, are those guys proud. And I mean proud like, I know we all like Trump, but like that's the bad kind of pride, right? I know I can do everything, right? You know, I have the best SAT score ever. I scored a 1 million. Like, that's out of 1,600, bro. Like, you know, that kind of bad. I'm not saying I love Trump. I'm going to vote for him, and he's the only one I'm voting for. I'm not voting for any of the other suckers. That's being recorded, isn't it? Sorry, right? That's the only guy I'm going to vote for. But he has a sense of pride that we would say, yeah, Trump, except I'm not really scared of you, right? So carry yourself with a kind of real pride that overcomes from doing real difficult things in your own life. That's what I mean spine. A person who's overcome so much in himself that is really not scared of whatever's coming forward. And that guy, women would love to follow. Love it. They're like, you're right, show me. Show me him. I'll follow him right away. I will be submissive when I decide to be submissive. You know, all this kind of stuff. That guy. And then finally, it's a guy who actually is able to stand up for what's right and take a risk when necessary. A guy who has spine and steel. That's what I would say is a man. I see a man who's still completely bogged down by his own demons, whether addiction, pornography, his own emotions, his own pride. I say, that's a little boy still. I see a guy failing to stand up for what's right, failing to move forward, failing to lead. That's not a man. That's a little boy. I don't mean pointing this way, you guys pointing that way, right? All of that to say this, right? Ladies, picture that guy, right? Say he's 25, drives a BMW because he's earned it, not because he wants to look cool. Because we all know BMWs, they eat more oil than gas, and if you open your hood, you got oil going everywhere. So no one in their right mind actually thinks, a BMW purchase is a good purchase of my money. No idiot thinks that. Well, idiots think that. Sorry, otherwise, that's not a predominant decision. This is a guy who can buy it because he's like, listen, I've been through some things in life. I can buy it now. My point in all this, ladies, after all that, picture that guy, 25, good looking, starting to get some gray coming in. You know, he's becoming wise, knows his theology. This is not me because I'm 10 years older than that guy, right? It can't be me, right? 25, knows his theology, has a good job, respected by everyone around him. Everyone loves him. The ladies like him. The guys respect him. No one would pick a fight. Godly, warm, everything. He's that guy. Why would he talk to you guys, girls? Right? You think it would? Why would he? Like, what is that guy looking for? Let's say, ask it an easier way. What is that guy looking for? And here's where I could help you, ladies. What do you think he's looking for? You two, and giggling the whole time in a good way. What is he looking for? Any ideas? A trophy wife. I mean, we all do like very beautiful, hot women. That's very important to us. And I'll tell you honestly, for two reasons. Obviously, I like looking at my wife. I love it, actually. All the married guys here, too. Yeah, we love it. Even when they're being obnoxious and yelling at us, we still like looking at them. We even pick fights on purpose to get their energy levels up. That's a secret. Look at someone giggling back. She's like, I didn't know you guys did that all the time, right? The point is, we like what we're looking at. If it's our wife, of course, I'm not looking at somebody else's wife and be like, that's a grech. That's a sin. All right? So we like what we're looking at, but what else does she do? If I have a beautiful wife on my arm and I walk into church, what else does she do? Yeah, who said it? What's your name? Vlad, my man. So, women can make you look good how? Physically, obviously. Trophy wife. What if she's super hot, but she's how do you say? I don't want to swear. But she's a really not nice person to be around. I just don't like anyone here. Can we leave now? Is that lady, she making me look good? She might look good. She might be super hot. Right? Great. She's got to make me look good in a couple ways. Now, I'm talking about that guy. I'm talking about the guy that's got it all together. He needs a lady that he likes to look at, that he likes to be around, that he likes to hug and kiss, and do all sorts of things that married people can do afterwards. Another part of it is, if we go somewhere, ladies, let me put it this way. If you're seeing a guy, he comes over to your grandma's house, and he can't talk to anyone. He's afraid of your dad. He doesn't say some fake thank you to your mom. He doesn't do any of this kind of stuff, and he just sits there kind of weird on his phone. You're going to lose it. You're going to become a lunatic. Be like, we're done. And deep down inside, if I can't bring this guy around any one of my friends, that's immediate red flag, bro. Immediate red flag. They can't do it. They can't do it. They need people to look around and say, wow, how did you catch him? They love that. So the point is, first, ladies, make us look good. Not just physically. Like, legit, make us look good. You want to attract that guy, find a way to make him look good. Find a way to get involved in his life. Trick him if you need to do it. And there's a Bible principle for tricking him, right? Ruth and Boaz, what happened? Don't tell me she sat there and just malilas the whole time and then got to marry him. No, legit. Went in his bedroom when he's sleeping in a moment. God said to do it. So I'm not saying do that, right? I'm saying take some initiative. And I'll give you a little couple strategies up on that point. But ladies, yeah, we like how you look. How you guys look is way more important to us than how we look is more important to you guys, right? For you, yeah, we need someone to protect. Well, yeah, pretty good looking. I can work with it, right? I can help him dress nice. Can get a new haircut. Teach him to groom himself. All good. You guys can help us do that. But what's more important to you is how do I long-term protect myself with money, with spiritual protection, and physical protection. If I get that guy and someone I can work with, baby, I'm good. Right? Ladies, tell me I'm wrong. Legit, one of you. Tell me I'm wrong. Married ladies, am I wrong? Are you scared to say it? No? I asked a lady if she was wrong, and you said, you're right. All of that. Generally, the way a lady looks to a man is way more important and sheer physical attraction with the way a guy looks to a girl. It's a different level of what you need from a relationship. So, first thing, look good beautifully, look good. At least make me look good in front of other people. That's important because it is inexorably tied to status. So the Holy Trinity for men, after all of that I can bring in, is status, resources, and money. I'm assuming you're godly. Guys, remember I told you, I'm assuming you're godly, and I'm assuming you have a heart for God, and all of the other stuff they tell you to say in church. I'm assuming all of that, right? I shouldn't assume it. So there, all of that. Status, looks, and resources. By means, I mean money or the ability to do it, to take care, to spiritually protect, physically protect. And it's a guy that other people really respect, so he's easy to follow, and he's got a vision. That's how you need to think about all of that kind of stuff when you think about status. So when that guy has it, he wants a girl on his arm who is beautiful, inside and out. I bring you to a party, you can't be embarrassing me or your husband. I'm not talking about me in general. Nothing worse for a pastor or for a leader than if his wife's out of control. Nothing worse. Like, I don't even know how I would begin to solve that problem. I'd probably step down from any and every ministry I have. I probably would rebut this opportunity and say, I can't do it. I'd probably mess up all my work stuff because, the person closest to me is someone completely out of control. She doesn't listen to God's word. She doesn't listen to me. She doesn't listen to any. What do I do? And think about it, ladies. Say you and I get married. I have a few kids. I have a house. You divorce me. No prenup. What do I lose? Let's do the math. I lose half of my bank account. Let's just call it I lose $60K. Lose half my business. It's another $160K. I lose half the house that I haven't bought yet. Right? I lose that. I lose all the kids. Raw deal, isn't it? Raw deal. You could have a bad day and things could go crazy, and divorce happens all the time. Not so much in our Slavic cultures because we do tend to elevate marriage, but we have all that. And in one moment, I could be out $200K, lose all my kids, lose a wife, lose the house. The courts aren't going to protect me. Even the worst deadbeat moms get all the kids. So, how do we protect ourselves? Guys, married guys, this is, talk about needing to have faith in God. God really has to help our marriage go forward, or things can go so south. And I know plenty of guys within our Slavic Baptist, Pentecostal churches who that has happened to just like that. I don't mean to scare you, but that is a scary thing. So back to ladies. Obviously, we like what we look at. We like that you make us look good in the sense that you're helping us in our vision, in our mission, elevating status in that way. And then finally, and this is the one that is going to be, I had to save it for the end because I needed you to listen this whole way. This is the point where if that guy has everything going on, he's got the money, he's got the godliness, he's got all the skills, he's already going somewhere. Who does he want as a wife? Not just a trophy wife. Yeah, thank God she looks good. But is she helpful to me in all the other ways? The easiest way, ladies, to get a guy that you want is first, this will require you swallowing your pride a little bit, and that's very difficult for men and women to do. But in this case, if you make yourself useful to him, become a part of his life to such a way where he's like, what? Oh, I got all this help, and there's no one nagging me or tearing me down, but just help pushing me forward. Oh, yeah, I'm cool. All of a sudden, I'm married and have kids. I'll tell you one story. I know this little girl, right? She liked this guy forever, and this guy was always on Facebook, Instagram, putting out books that he likes to read. I've been reading, Mere Christianity, blah, 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 I used to do that. I've repented. People putting out the books they're reading or the whole book lists on New Year's, bro, you haven't even read the first chapter of Calvin yet. Put down Turretin. Please. I can see it right away. Anyway, that guy puts out all these books that he's reading, and then one day on his story puts out hey, I'm just looking for good books to read. This chick went back through all the books he's posted about in the last 2 years, made a list, went, got a summary of each book, and then DM'd him saying, these are all my favorite books that I've read in the past 5 years. Here's why I liked all of them. Complete BS. Women don't read. I'm kidding. Yo, that chick is pregnant. That chick is pregnant with his baby. My point is, ladies, I'm not saying, well, you should read Calvin and Bavinck and all of that, but for a different reason. My point is, this dude got nuked from orbit. Good on her. Amen. Well done. What did she do? A little bit of homework, made himself kind of a useful part of his life, and now married him, having his kid, making his life even easier. Ladies, me and my wife is at our best. Is that when we are fulfilling God's mission, she is a help to me, not a hindrance. Yes, she bickers at me. She gets mad at me all the time. Some of it deserved, some of it not deserved. We're all sinners, right? Not saying that way. I've got my own issues as well that she has to deal with and be patient towards. My point is, if we are working towards one mission and we're moving forward, that's good. But when the mission becomes about the women being just happy, that's hell. Welcome to hell. Happy wife, happy life, guys. Welcome to hell. Like, that is the worst life. If everything you're doing as a man, remember, you're supposed to be a leader, spiritual protection, spiritual everything, resources, vision, moving forward, but all you're moving forward is how to make Christina happy. My wife's not Christina, but Christina happy all the time. Like, welcome to hell, guys. Seriously. If you're functioning, I just do this and she'll keep quiet for a couple weeks, or if you, lady, are perpetuating that lifestyle, like, my happiness is the most important here, welcome to hell. And that might explain, when my Slavic churches beforehand, the vast majority of men I saw fall into this trap. Radishto molchala. And they're miserable and they're 70 years old. Don't do that. Don't do that. Find a mission you can both serve that's not either about you or your wife, about something bigger. Make it about raising the kids to be godly people. Don't make it about your happiness. I won't make it about my happiness. Now, am I happy with Bożena? Extremely. I love her. She loves me back. We do a lot of things to make each other happy. But guess what? She doesn't go to sleep thinking, did I make Arthur happy today? And I don't go to sleep thinking, did I make her happy today? In the sense that her happiness is the highest. That is, honestly, guys, welcome to hell. I can't picture a worse situation for me than the situation of me worrying about, did I make my wife happy today? Happy wife, happy life. Better, happy spouse, happy house, but that's cheeky and I don't want to use it, right? My point is, have a mission bigger. So all of that, ladies, find your way in his life, be useful, take care of the problems that he has that he can't take care of. Like, I love my kids. I adore my kids. I have a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 7-month-old that I married, named after my dad. I love those little critters. I am not engineered by God to sit at home and play with them and chirpet them all day. I don't have the gifts. I could do it. I could do it for a week. I could do it for 2 weeks. I could do it maybe for a month. But I don't derive a certain satisfaction of family building that God has instilled in my wife. That if she's home with the kids all day, obviously she gets tired of it. She loves it. They love it. I'm like, oh, I gotta get out. I gotta go to work. I'll go do anything, right? One of the issues why we're a good father. And so this guy, it's a beautiful wife, makes him look good physically, makes him look good in front of others. She's a help to him, and she doesn't annoy the hell out of him. That's the most important part. And I meant to say that H word to get the point across. Nothing is more annoying than a guy who's got a ton of responsibility and a ton of difficult things to do shoulders for me to come and now listen to your mom's problems and their issues there and how I can help solve her mom and dad's problems. But that happens all the time. So in a way, you want that guy. That guy that you're attracted to doesn't have time for your games. That guy that you're attracted to who's on a mission, vision, got all of it, he doesn't have time to mess around. That guy needs a wife. He doesn't want a companion. He doesn't need anyone philosophical to talk to or theologian. He's got that. So you got to fill in the gaps in his life that he needs. Now, I'll say one last thing and then we can leave the room for questions. I am not against women careers, obviously not. My mom's a doctor, my sister's master's of accountancy, other sisters a nurse. I got all women in high-powered careers making good money all around me. All good, no problem. Say I'm in a high-powered career program, let's just say, I'll give a rough number, you could probably, with like 4 or 5 years of experience, a programmer could get a job getting like 140K. Right, plus bonus, you're at about 155, 160 if you're good, right? 150K a year, right? Your wife's making, say, I don't know what she's doing, whatever she's doing, she's bringing 80K. Now you got 250K, right? 250 total. She gets pregnant, right? And she's like, oh, I don't want to, I could just watch him for a couple months of paternity leave, and then I could just give him to a sajik while I go to work, right? Sounds logical. Right, let's do the math. The lady makes 70, 80K. A good sajik, guys, how much does it cost? People with kids, somebody, give me a number. Who's got kids besides me? You guys don't? You guys? Not yet. Cherish this moment. Nobody. All right, a good sajik. I mean a good one where they feed them like borscht and they're not shoving feminist propaganda down the kids. You know, this is a good one. Let's just say, give me a number, 3K a month. Is that good? A sajik for one kid, 3K a month. Part-time. Where is this one? In South Philly, 1,500 part-time? I could give my kids to South Philly. I'd be, right. All right, ladies, a good one is 4K a month, right? Let's just say 1,500 part-time. So let's double that with taxes, all of that. Say 4K a month, right? 4K a month. I've done my research here, right? I went there. A good one. I don't mean like you take your kids to Bambi. Now, I'm not saying nothing against Bambi, but like it just looks weird on film. I'm driving by, like that's a daycare. Yeah, I'm driving. I'm keeping driving. No hate, right? A good one. Let's just say 4K a month to take care of my kids. My wife goes to work, I go to work, they take care of our kids all day. Sounds like a match made in heaven. 4K a month times 12 months, right? 12 months a year, 48. Let's call it an even 50K for someone to raise my kid for me 9 hours a day, right? My wife is making how much? 70, 80, right? So she's making 30K difference, right? By the way, I'd love to meet, that's on the higher end of where I would say, depending on your education, you're making 80K a year. That's fine. That's a lot of money, especially for a woman at that point. But okay, 80K minus the 50. So you're only pocketing 30K, right? Minus taxes. 80K taxes down to like 62 minus 50. You're net 12K, right? You've made $12,000 this year while you were working for another man full time. You guys follow the math? I did a lot of accounting. I still work sometimes for special clients as an accountant. That sounds like not worth my time, right? I'm making all this money. I'm giving 50 away. After taxes, I'm getting 10K. Like we spent that in Jamaica last year. That's one vacation. You worked all this time for another man, getting up every day 6 a.m., giving your kids to race to somebody else, and then you go to work and you come home and you get 12K? Like, do the math here. Dude, like, this is something I did with my wife. Like, babe, I'll take care of everything. Now, guys are like, yeah, I want a girl to sit at home all day. What did I say your salary was at the beginning of that? Did you guys miss that? Like, that has to be up here. If you're demanding this from the wife, that kind of salary, you need to be able to take care of the family. Praise God if it is. If it's not yet, hustle. If you're working 8 hours a day, like, I don't know what you're doing. I work like minimum 12. From home, too, it's even more crazy because the kids just run in when I'm with a client. My point of all of that is this. When kids are in the picture, this complicates everything. Who's raising them? There's some family members I have, not family members. distant family members who are like, you know what, I'm going to work full time. She's going to work full time. My mom will just take care of all the kids. That's great. Perfect. Amazing grandma for you. Except she's 70 years old now taking care of 3 kids all day. So my point in all this is, go get your degree, ladies. Great. Love it. Love to see it. Make your way in this world. But when there comes a time where you want to be on that man's timeline, the most useless thing to him is whether you can make money. I don't care. With Brzena, I love her more than anything. She makes a dime. She loses a dime. She spends my money. Well, that goes without saying, right? I don't care if she gets a PhD. I don't care if she gets a master's in accountancy. My sister has that. I love her as much. There's a level of usefulness you can be to the guy that is worthy of it and deserving of it, that doesn't require you bringing in a boatload of money. She wants to go to work tomorrow? Sure. Who am I taking care of the kids, or am I giving them to some babushka at Bambi? So you see, all of that is all good and well. But when the pedal hits the metal and the kids are in the picture, and then there's grandkids around and kids and all of that, that's when those conversations are really good to be had. That's when that guy that's got everything needs a wife and a mom of the kids. He doesn't need a career woman. And that right there makes it sound like I'm saying career women are bad. It's not. I'm not saying that. I'd be criticizing my mom and my sisters and my aunt, and I'm not criticizing them, especially with the specific sacrifices they've made. But for that guy that's got it all together, that can take care of a family, protect it, do all of that, is that lady a help to him in what he needs? Does he need your money? No. Does he need what philosophical conversations you can bring to the table? I don't think so. What he needs is a wife and a mom of the kids. And so, ladies, I want to ask you, got 20 minutes for a question after this. And when we say wife material, the guys that say it usually don't know what they're talking about. They're 18. As a 35-year-old and guy, older guy, got it from them as well. What do I need now? Do I need my wife's extra $60K that she is going to go and get working out of nowhere? No. I need a wife and a mom. I'll take care of that stuff, and you can push me towards all that stuff. So, ladies, you want that? Guys, you want the girl that's super hot? You got to have all those things in check. She's not even going to look at you otherwise. That's fine. You only need one wife. 99% are going to reject you. 99% rejected who? Me. 99% rejected your dad. One said, yeah. You only need one wife. More is too many headaches. Way too many headaches. Imagine way too many headaches for more than one wife. So that's that guy. Ladies, if you want that guy that's doing all of that, what does he need? He needs a wife and a mom for his kids to foster his legacy. He doesn't need. Now, none of us are at that stage yet. None of us are extremely wealthy, successful, all that. None of us are extremely beautiful where guys can't stop looking at us, even though all you girls are beautiful. Not saying that. All of you guys are attractive. So, for those that are really attractive, use it to get the guy you really need. Now, I'm not saying it's not sin. It's not sin. Look at Ruth. I'm going to point to Ruth every time. I got some girl after the last time I did this talk where she was like, "Это грех. Я никогда не буду это делать." I'm like, good, you're single. And she's still single. And she will be single. That I mean to be a little bit mean. The point is, she doesn't have enough brains to sit there and say, maybe a guy knows what he's talking about what guys want. Same thing about ladies. Guys. Maybe girls really know what they're talking about with what they want. And a BMW and a picture with you sitting on the hood probably ain't it. All right. All of that. I'm done after this. Wow. I spoke way too long. All of that, guys. Spiritual protection, vision, mission. And so I'll end with one last point. Guys and girls are like this. Think about this. There's a bunch of beautiful females, And here I am, all the guys, we're all captains with a bunch of boats behind us. So we have to, what if we got to do? And she's deciding, whose boat do I want to get on and which lifestyle do I want to go down? And I got this from Dr. Orion Taraban. I don't know if you want to listen to him. On YouTube, he's called Psych Hacks. He's a psychologist that does like men's issues. One of the only red pill guys that I actually think's got it spot on. And he talks about this thing. All the beautiful girls are walking around in the dock. I'm a captain, you're a captain. We got a boat behind us. So we got to figure out, build a boat. Does she want to get in that dranduliet of yours? All right? Does she want to do it? If you can barely start it, probably not. Second, I got to build a boat. I got to chart a course. Where am I going with this boat? Am I going to Jamaica? She'd be like, yeah, I would love to go to Jamaica. Or he said, I'm just going to South Philly. And she's like, next, no judgment, right? And then finally, build a boat, make something of yourself. Chart a course, figure out where you're going. And the last one, no way I forgot it. No way I forgot it. You're welcome. Build the boat, chart a course. I don't even know where I have it written down. Oh, build a boat, learn to sail, and then chart a course. So the whole build a boat, make yourself physically into something. Right. What you want? Learn to sail, build up your competence. What do you know how to do? If you want to come work for my business right now, what can you do for me? Literally. Can you do marketing? Can you do sales? Can you take a shovel and dig? How can you help me? Men to men. Figure out that. And then finally, build a boat, learn to sail, chart a course. Where am I going? We're going to South Philly. Guys, not a lot of girls interested. But if you help them fall in love with the idea of being with you and going someplace cool, all of a sudden, the finest girl in the church is like, hi, I'm Ruth. Can you be my Boaz? Something like that, All right, that's my point. I'm done. That's a lot. I did not expect to talk that long. I apologize if I did. But, yeah. Any questions? You can ask your question again. Was this helpful to a 26-year-old? No, I'm kidding. I don't mean to mock. Sure. Is a wife and a mom a learned thing or an innate thing? Two answers, yes and no. So learned, innate is meaning like a woman is going to find it hard to be a husband, even though the vast majority of the women in our churches pretend to be the husband. Yes, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And this is functionally what happens in our Slavic churches. No judgment. It's just the way it is. So they have a deep, internal, God-given, creational desire to be nurturing and helpful towards either husband or the kids, right? Also, a wife is not a good wife day one, right? She's an amazing wife day 10,000. So a lot of young guys, I see this way. They look at like John MacArthur, and he's been with his wife for 40 years. And I have friends go to that church, and John MacArthur's church and all that. Actually, you guys are anti-MacArthur. I forgot. My point, he's been with his wife this whole year, all 40 years. Amazingly godly people, even if they're wrong about the gifts, right? Let's pretend, right? Amazing godly people. And the guys are like 18, 25. I want a wife who's so submissive and godly like her. Bro, she's been married for 50 years. So I become a better husband being married longer if I'm on the right path. She becomes a better wife being the longer she's married. That happens within one bond. Like a girl without a husband is probably just going to be like, well, do I have a husband? What am I doing? Right? Until she latches on, then we're grown together, right? A man without a woman is like chart a course, just doing their own thing. They're not spinning. They're just moving around. When they come together, now they're on one mission, one vision, serving God together. And when they're doing together, the girl doesn't have to worry. Do I have someone to provide for me? Who cares for me? He loves me, right? And that's huge. You get that kind of anxiety out of a woman, and they become the best versions of themselves. Some of the best women I know. The best women I know are probably better than the best men I know. That's beside the point. So we both need a sense of commitment, community, and covenant. And when we're in that state, I am a way better person now that Bridgette's around, and she's a way better wife now that I'm in her life. So it's both innate in the sense that it's creational, but it's learned because we kind of suck at everything starting out. Another one. Wow. Sure. I feel like you're leading me with that question. I would still say if you're single, go to school. But just be ready. If that guy comes and he's like, Christina, I want to come with me to Jamaica. Yes. I don't care about my nursing degree. Voila. Yeah. That's my honest, God-given advice that I told my sister and would tell my daughter. So everything I tell you is everything my dad told me and said I can't say this from the pulpit. Right? So I'm telling you guys, not from the pulpit, by the way. So this is everything I'll tell my son, I'll tell my kids. This is everything I tell all the premarital counseling students, premarital counseling. They come. I actually made a couple break up within like one session. I found out real quick what was going down there and made light of it. And they call me next week. We're on a break. And I'm like, oh, no. We got them back together again, kind of settled them down, and they're good to go. She's pregnant now. The point is, yeah, real quick we found out what was going down in that relationship. Any more questions? Yes. Should I make her sign a prenup? Can I sit down? All right, prenuptial agreement. These are agreements between a husband and a wife that if things were to go down badly and divorce is going to happen, that there's a righteous way to split all the money and all that. Because, I mean, the women need protection here too, because if she's sacrificing having your kids, being your wife, and not doing her career, you can walk out and now Biden's policies have to protect her, or whatever president gives them welfare, something like that. That's brutal. So in a way to protect the women, yeah. So I would encourage, I don't have a prenup, and I kind of regret that because there's a huge amount of risk now. Now, it's not risk associated with Brzena. It's not even risk associated with me. It's risk of everybody's a sinner, right? So the Ben Shapiro talked to us, even though I can't stand that guy. But he said that in Hasidic Judaism that they have now, like they still sign prenups. And he said he was going to sign a prenup for his wife, whose dad was a Jew too. And he said, okay, $10 million. And then dad's like, she's not worth that much. Let's just do 1 million, something like that. So I think we need to be smarter about the protections, because I know when women and men get divorced and they go to court, the men never win. Like I could get my life completely ruined if I, God forbid, make a little too much wine, a little too much attention from a girl, something bad happens, I'm getting divorced, now I'm at zero. Now, is it my fault? Probably, but, there's a lot of risk. So I think you should be smart about it and pray about it. Talk to your pastors and godly men above you. And I'm not going to tell you yes or no, but yes. Yes. It's not true love if money's involved? No. Yes. Yes. So she's point is saying this, if I do a prenup, now we get to decide, hey, I can get out of this easily and only be on the hook for like $700K, right? So I would also abolish the law we made in the 70s of no-fault divorce. Unless there's actual fault involved, infidelity, abuse, something like that, then you can get divorced. Abolish no-fault divorce. If you're married, like you said, till death do us part. None of this. So no-fault divorce is actually the problem of a lot of things. They say, oh, it's feminism ruining everything. Not everything. Feminism does ruin a lot, but like no-fault divorce is the real diablo here. People step in, yeah, let's get together. We'll just pretend to be husband and wife, sleep together, and then decide, I like Jake. Or, I like my secretary who's a trophy wife. So no-fault divorce. I'm with you. I accept that rejoinder, but I would say abolish no-fault divorce too for doing that. But this is the typical Christian answer too. Like our society is not going to be smart enough to be like, what's our problem? Oh, that stupid law. Instead, they say Trump's our problem. He's not even president anymore. Yeah. Okay, good question. What is a mission? So this is generally a subjective answer, because what my mission is not what this guy's mission is, because we have a different skill set. So generally, the mission for all of us is to spread God's temple presence wherever we go. So this relationship is some kind of a temple. This is, now that we know each other, some kind of temple. Every relationship you have is kind of a temple of God multiplying. So when we go home, I'm the high priest in our temple at home, right? Got some little helpers, got John, Scarlett, I got Robert, I got Brzena. We're all building God's temple. And so what I mean by vision, what I mean most practically is, bro, do you have something going on, right? Like some people, and this happens a lot of the Slavic culture that's a little older, a lot of the men thought evangelism and preaching was the thing to do in this world, right? I'm going to evangelize, I'm going to preach, I'm about God's kingdom, and the wife and the kids are at home starving, or no warmth, no relationship, whatever, but he's about God's kingdom, right? So what I mean by mission and vision here is, do you have things going on? Is it work? Are you using work to leverage stuff? Are you trying to be helpful to these things here? So what I say, I'll tell you what my vision is. My vision and mission here is, I have a certain set of skills that makes me uniquely able to earn money in this special way. That money I earn, to upgrade whatever lifestyle, buy a house. I haven't bought it yet. That's one of the reasons my wife is mad at me, because I'm a little more risk averse than she wants me to be on certain houses. You could buy this one, we can afford it. No, we can't. The point is, so I want to make as much money as I possibly can without sacrificing my relationship with my wife and my kids and my church and my friends, right? So that I could put that money to good use with regards to raising my kids right, putting them on their feet to go forward, and helping our church and all that. Now, this is extremely general, right? That's an extremely general mission and vision, because if I were to tell you deep down inside this is actually a really private thing between me and God. What are we doing, Lord? I just give you the granular ideas. Any one of the guys could say, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good vision. But the point is, are you a productive male? Right? Are you, all right, Arthur, you like video games. How many hours? I played 3,000 hours of Dota 2. Yeah, judge me, please. I'll gladly repent of that. 3,000 hours. No, like over 10 years. 3,000 hours. Let's say I just walked half of that time. Just walked. I'd be in pretty sick shape. I might be like maybe down 11% body fat. Maybe. Instead, I'm like, wow, the priestess of the moon. Babe, I'm winning. Right? Now, games aren't sinful, but Arthur, is this a productive use of your time? I understand we have a rest, but what are you doing with your time? Mostly, you just look at this phone and see how much of your apps are taking it up. And I promise you, it's Instagram, Twitter, or whatever Snapchat you got going on. That is a lack of vision and mission. Some guys just make a mission and vision, get jacked and all that, and then look at themselves in the mirror like they're gay. You know? See, I'm judging everyone here. All right, 1 minute. Any more questions? Does that answer it? The reason it's hard to answer that is because it's an inner thing with God. And you can tell right away, you ladies especially can tell right away, does this guy got it going on or not? And they can smell it, boys. They can smell it, yeah. Sure. Yes. Yeah, I'm not worried. Why am I worried? I'll put it this way. This is a Ukrainian church, right? Pretty bad situation over the last couple of years with the Russian war and all of that. Who's more useful to Ukraine during this time of war? Say it's 2021. Wait, when did the war start? 2022. It's March. Your family in Nikolaev's getting bombed. Who's more useful? The person with no money who doesn't worry, or the person who's worked really hard, has a bank account, and can sign a $50K check? This is where this whole be a poor person and just learn to be faithful to the Lord. When crisis comes, They are dependent then on people like me who can help them stay afloat, right? So guys, get after it. Get after it. You need to be working like 14-hour days. Like, what else you doing with your time? You sleep 8. Right? 8 hours. My God, sleeping. Sorry, I didn't mean to use the Lord's name in vain. But like, say you sleep 7, you eat 2, 9, 15 hours. What are you doing? Playing pickleball? What are you like legit? What are you doing? All right, go to the gym for 2 hours. Great. 13 hours. What are we doing? Netflix is like there's nothing there to watch. Go to work. While you have the strength and you go to work, the Bible says, look at the ant. All day he works. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm saying work more than 8 hours a day. But a wife, 3 kids, ton of things to do at church. I'm working minimum 12 a day. Sorry. And I have fun sometimes. I lead a men's group for Bible study that I'm a little bit lazy on, but that's what I would say. How can you be a useful man and a poor man is going to be? Now, not to worry, because you shouldn't worry. Well, the point is saying the Gentiles do these things, right? And the assumption is there that they don't care about God. All they care about is money and how they look. That's why. But that's not a complete answer. Come to me another time. This is devil's advocate in a different direction. All right. Is everybody mad at me? No? Dang it. I did a bad job. So, guys, become that guy. And ladies, become that lady that he wants to be around.